Okay guys, I'm going to jump right into this. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using cotton fabric, which is probably, I would say, not the best, but it's good for the fabric masks. It's 100% cotton. I made a pattern. It's down 8 inches and across 9 inches. And then I cut a bunch of elastic strips that are 9 inches long. And the elastic is 1/4 inch wide, or you could use elastic that is 1/8 wide, but don't go any bigger, because if you go bigger, it's going to be hard for the elastic to stretch and it's going to be very uncomfortable behind people's ears. So I wouldn't go any bigger. And now I'm just folding the fabric so that I can cut out the pattern pieces. And the pattern pieces are the same for front and back, like the same size. So I'm going to be using printed fabric for the front and then a solid color fabric for the back for some of them, and then just 2 different color printed fabrics or 2 different kind of printed fabrics for the front and back, so that people can tell which side is the front and back. It's better really to have 2 different sides so that everyone can differentiate between the front and back, so they can know like how to take it out, which side is dirty, which side is clean, etc. So what you'll see me doing is just basically cutting out the fabric basically all the way up until I'm ready to sew it. Now, I just want you guys to keep in mind that fabric masks will not prevent you from getting the COVID virus, the coronavirus, but wearing a mask, period, is better than wearing no mask at all. The fabric mask, I think it filters out at least 50%. So you have like a 50% chance, but you know, technically masks in general won't really stop you from getting it. It just will prevent you from spreading it to people. And then these masks anyway can help, like if someone has regular colds or the flu or, you know, stuff like that. Like it just still helps you in general from contracting things. The best way to not really get anything is to stay your behind home. And that's just being real. Nowadays, it's just kind of like, you know, no matter what you do, no matter how much you protect yourself, it's going to be hard to not get anything in general. So stay home, wash your hands, stay home and wash your hands. Right now, I'm pointing out where I'm going to be sewing. I left like a little space so that when I sew all the way around, I'm gonna leave that little space open, and then I'll be able to flip it inside out. As you can see before, I'll pin the elastic strips to each side, like to the sides, not to the part of the mask where it's going to be up and down, but to the sides where your ears are going to be at. So I pinned the elastic to the sides so that when I flip it inside out, the elastics will be sewn on the inside. You can use a serger or the sewing machine. I'm using the serger right here because I'm going to be making a lot of them for the hospitals in need. So I'm just trying to get a lot done. So I'm using the serger, but it's really honestly up to you. So you can use the sewing machine if like that's all you have. Because the fabric is going to be turned inside out anyway. And when you use the sewing machine, you're going to want to clip the, basically trim the fabric so that when you flip it inside out, the seams won't be bulky, because you'll have a hard time making the pleats like I did, because I didn't, even though I'm using the serger on this one, my serger sews and sergers at the same time. So I had like, I would say like a 1/4 inch seam that was kind of bulky because I didn't trim the serge part away. So I'm going to use my regular serger next time, because the seams will be thin and I don't have to trim away. But the preference is basically up to you. Just make sure that you trim the edges before you turn it inside out, so that you'll have you won't have a hard time making the pleats. Okay, so I finished serge it on the inside, and then I flipped it inside out. So what I'm going to do now is make the pleats and top stitch all the way around so that the pleats can be stitched down. I'm doing 2 pleats on this because the fabric, because I didn't sew the seams down, the fabric the seams are kind of thick, so I only did 2 pleats. But for the next ones that I make, I'm going to do 3 pleats, and I'm going to make them with slits in them so that people can use them for mask protectors. Now this one you can use for a mask protector. You can just wear it over top of your hospital mask. Like just put your hospital mask on and then put this one over top of it. But for the ones I make in the future, I'm going to put a slit in them so that people can put their masks inside of these fabric masks and can potentially extend the life of the hospital mask, because a lot of hospitals are basically reusing masks. So this may be a good solution, or just a good option to preserve the life of the hospital mask. So for a future mask, I will be putting the slits in them. So as you can see, I'm just basically I was showing you how to put the pleats in it, and now I'm going around, like stitching around, top stitching around, and then I'm putting the pleats in. I'm just eyeballing them basically. But if you haven't been sewing for a while, or if it's going to be hard for you to do, then I suggest putting pins, like pinning the pleats in place. But I didn't want to use that many pins because I didn't want to have a lot of holes in this mask and risk messing up the integrity of the mask. So I didn't really use pins like that. But if you need to use them, by all means do. Just don't use a whole lot because you don't want to have a lot of holes. Now for this one, I'm just showing you a different style. I'm using bias tape, and then I'll make another one as well with ribbon. So for the bias tape one, I just put the pleats in already, and then I'm going to put the fabric inside of the bias tape, and then just basically top stitch on the bias tape, like top stitch all the way from the top of the bias tape through the pleats, and then all the way down to the edge of it. And you'll be able to see what I'm doing right here.
6 million ways to die, choose one.
They call me Megatron, just did a telethon. He got my jealous on, and I get my jealous on. I fuck him like I miss him, he just came out of prison. He talking shit, but they ain't got a pot to piss in. My name is Nicky M, I'm in the sticky bins. That mean it's candy apple red, I'm Barbie, this is Ken. That is a Fendi fact, I'm with 100 max. Oh, this is cut the date, Donatella sent me that. Fill up, baby, fill on me. Pull up if you feel lonely. Fill up, baby, fill on me. Pull up if you feel lonely.
Now, this is the one that I'm going to use ribbon for. And all I did was I serged the edges of the mask, I put the pleats in, and then now I'm gonna top stitch all the way around. I'll add the pieces of ribbon to the edges, and we'll be put, underneath the stitch. I cut 4 pieces of ribbon, and I'm gonna put them on the edges. So on each edge, there are 4 edges. On each edge, there is a piece of ribbon, and I think I made the ribbon probably like 14 inches long, I think. Yeah, so I made the ribbon like 14 inches long, and each piece is 14 inches long. So on each edge, you have a 14-inch long piece of ribbon. And for the bias tape, I think I made the bias
6
tape
million ways to die, choose one.
28 inches long. Since it enclosed the edges as well, I had to make it long. At first I made it too short, but then I went back and made it longer. So for the bias tape was 28 inches long, so you'll need 2 28-inch long pieces. And then if you're using ribbon and putting them on each side, you're going to need 4 14-inch long pieces of ribbon. For the elastic is 9 inches long. You could do 9 inches, 9.5, or if the person's face is a little smaller, you can do 8. But that's why some people prefer the string, because it's just, you could just tie it and it'll fit to whatever size face. But that's just pretty much the me putting the ribbon in on the sides. And then when I finish placing the ribbon behind, all I do is just top stitch around. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's kind of easy, but if you have like a lot of layers of fabric, then it do make it a little bit more, time consuming, because you're like stitching over again. Sometimes my thread was like popping because I was trying to go fast, and it was a learning experience because this was my first time making them. But we all have to, I was just basically practicing anyway, so we all have to learn. And this is pretty much what I do. Before I give something to somebody, or before I make something for someone, I practice it first, and then I give it away or make it for others. But basically that is it. I am done. So I have 3 different kind of masks. I have one with elastic, I have one with ribbon, and one with bias tape. Hopefully you guys learned something from this tutorial. I hope that I did a good job explaining, or that you were able to see what I was doing clearly. Please make sure that you are staying home, you are washing your hands, disinfecting your areas, sanitizing, but most importantly, staying home and washing your hands. Staying home and washing your hands to help prevent the spread of this virus. So until next time, stay safe and stay home. I just wanted to come back and say, just in case you didn't hear me, stay safe and stay home. Stay home if you are not going out for essential things.